And like I said, we know that they're a customer because they're placing an order. So if we take a look at an order, it always has to have an account customer. That's a required field. And then they also want to know who. So that's the people authorized the purchase. And then this is internal users. So I could say myself authorized it internally. And you have different statuses. Those are kind of trying to, I can't activate it unless I have one product on the order. That's one more piece I'll show you here actually. So let me save this order. Really, there's no dollars to the order yet, right? Because I didn't add anything to it. But this is a beginning piece of an order. Then if I go to related, the related tab, we have order products where I can add products. These are actually all the sample products you might notice from the Trailhead org that you'll be working in. But let's go with some of the cheaper generators here. So it shows that I've selected two different products, 10 watt and the 200 watt. I can choose different quantities for each. I can even change the price, right? The list price is 5, but if I want to give a bit of a deal to make sure I get this sale, change those up a bit. I could put a line description or some other stuff if I want to, but at this point I really have what looks like a pretty finalized order. Came out to 100,000 even. And then what a lot of companies will do is when you activate the order, that really means not really draft. I'm still working on the quantities, the address, everything. Once you've activated it, then they'll send it to an ERP system, which is Enterprise Resource Planning, which is a common accounting system that's used to keep track of all invoices, billing operations, like Oracle or NetSuite. And you can see here, just to go through these two objects, we've actually stumbled into many more objects, haven't we? So we have order products. So those are actually the relationship between the order itself and the products, right? So for this order, I ordered 3 of these, 4 of these. For another order, I might order 30 and 40. So these order products are that specific relationship. That's one object. The product is an object. Elon and the contact is an object. So we've really ballooned already from 2 to 5 or 6 pretty quickly. And so now that we've talked a little bit more about some of the objects, let's add the ones we know to our app. We're also going to get into objects like opportunities. So all an opportunity is the beginning stage of an order. So right, if you're planning to sell to Tesla, it's a huge $2 million deal. You might have it as an opportunity that you're planning on for 3 months that you don't really want to put in as a draft order because you're not that certain it's going to go through. But an opportunity is a way to track that potential order over a life cycle stage that we'll go into a little bit. So I got those. I'm going to add a couple more. Lead actually ties all of those objects together. We'll talk about that a bit. And then just 2 more just for functionalities, reports and dashboards, which are not actually objects, right? These are more features. These are ways to look at your data and crunch your data. We'll go through a quick example of that too. All right, and so really honestly, this list right here, minus cases maybe, is all most customers have as their objects and that they work with on a regular basis. And then you might actually ask, isn't this enough? Why would you need multiple apps? Well, this right here is good for a salesperson, but what about somebody who works in service, right? They might want cases, they might want service contracts, they might want assets, which track customer product. So it'd be a whole different app that you'd set up for a different department, but that could do the same things as your other users. So let's go back to our Cloud Ranger app here. Refresh here. And now you can see already we have many more tabs. So contacts was just a way to get back to the people within the customers. And then we have the list views, right? So these are the different filters. So I can look at every contact that's in here. Looks like a bunch of sample contacts. I can sort them by account. I can even search if I see Jake right there. It pulls up the two Jakes. So pretty functional when you first click to be able to work with these list views. You could even pin certain lists so that all contacts is the one that shows up every time you come to that page. So we've covered accounts, contacts. I touched on opportunities a bit, but I think the next logical place would be to talk about leads. And similar to an opportunity, a lead is a potential. So actually everyone on this call and everyone in the internship was a lead in our system at one point. Now you are contacts under the Cloud Ranger account because you're interns and you're part of the company basically. So if I go ahead and create a new lead here, and then we also, so we have two types of leads in our organization. We have potential employees, which are all of you, and then we have potential customers. But it's just a way to track what could become a potential sale. So let's go ahead and put in somebody I'm working with. So the only fields that are required are name really and company. So let's say, put some bogus information for now. You have to put valid information or these forms will yell at you. But that's really enough to get started. Your other main thing is this lead status, which we're going to go through as well. So let's go ahead and click save. Now we have this lead. This shows the activity, so I could write them an email. This is actually also how I kept emailing all of you that the internship was 2 weeks away, 5 days away. Just go in here, send a template, and it'll, put your name in with all the information for each different email I wanted to send. And then over time, you'll see all those stack under here. So actually do a sample one to myself quick. You can make the template pretty fancy with images and everything if you have time. But we'll just click send here. It should actually. There's a way to have it appear here too. That, oh, you know what? I didn't actually send it to Sean. That's the problem. So it didn't link it to him. But if I sent it to this email address, it would show up here. So I guess I'll send a bogus one to that email address. That should do it. There we go. So then over time, you see all the emails you sent to them, whether they opened it or not, the last time they opened it. So some pretty key information and way easier than trying to go back to your email and search through hundreds of emails that may have been opened or archived or put in folders. It becomes a nightmare to manage emails sometimes. So managing it through here is a great way for sales reps to really utilize the system and all their contacts in it. So that's the activity portion. And there's also the details. So over time, I could figure out his phone number, more information about the company, how many employees. And then at that point, I'd say the stage is working. It's not just open, not contacted. I've contacted him and I think there's a potential sale there. Then over time, I'm adding more activities, tasks, reminders, emails. Finally, I'm like, all right, Sean's moving ahead with the project. Go ahead and convert them. So converting a lead turns it into the objects that we went through so far: account, contact, and optionally an opportunity. So you might not be ready to convert Sean. You're like, okay, I know he's going to do something. I just don't know the deal size or what it's going to be. But to start off, you could say, okay, it's actually Acme Incorporated. So give it a bit of a modification here. The contact, it'll even let you change that up a bit if you want to put salutation and change this up a bit. Or even say Acme's already in your database. you didn't realize that you could connect Sean to an existing account like Tesla, right? But here we're going to just create a new one because Acme's new to this organization. So we got our account contact, and then we will create the opportunity, right? So this is Acme Inc. looking for Salesforce full-time development work. Awesome, right? So we convert, and we get the happy flag on top of the mountain. Your lead has been converted. And at this point, we can go to any of the 3 records, right? These are records under the 3 objects we went through. So I guess that's another bullet point for here. And let's hop over to our opportunity. And then opportunity is just like an order, but it's an early stage order, right? So it's going to be almost the same thing where we're adding products, choose however many. Quantities, prices. And then this also has the same stage to go through the pipeline. So the stage the deal is at. So right now we're in prospecting, that's very early on. And then with each stage, so needs analysis, the probability changes here. And you could even say, no, it's actually more like 60 at this stage. Then everything you're doing to this opportunity kind of gets tracked over time as well. So my boss is going to see that it went from 505 with 10% probability to 60, and the expected revenue went up. And then eventually I might turn this opportunity into a quote or an order once I'm confident that they're going to move forward. So hopefully you can kind of see the progression here of how my accounts are accounts because they have either closed won opportunities or orders, and how these objects kind of relate and progress into each other.